Certainly, YouTube is the #1 entertainment site in Australia. It has a significant homepage that offers advertising. We like, as I said earlier, we like to get in as early as possible to the discussion, so it's not just a case of, oh, we've got a 15-second TVC, can we put it up there? But really talk about how that content is going to be uploaded, how it's going to be shared. You know, very much it's not just going to sit on YouTube. We've got a very easy auto-share facility that can go through to your Facebook and Twitter account as well. So when you upload a video, it automatically notifies everybody that follows you on Twitter. Apart from me, because I don't have many followers. So, like I said, as early as possible. In terms of minimum spend, we've got a variety of solutions that you want to advertise. One thing I would say, I think you said earlier that a certain amount of video really don't have many views on YouTube. One of the stats that I like is over 50% of videos on YouTube are actually commented or rated on. But certainly there is an enormous amount of content that's uploaded on YouTube. I think the number is something like 24 hours of video every minute, which comes down to about X number of Hollywood movies every week, and more content than Hollywood could have ever produced. So you've got to let people know your content's there. Even things like the Evian babies, which was a huge success in terms of videos viewed. They bought homepages across the globe, and I think we've actually been in this conversation for half an hour now, not mentioning the Old Spice man. Old Spice also promoted that video content both across the Google Display Network and on YouTube prior to it becoming such a huge success. So really, if you're going to put video up there, think about promoting it. Several ways to promote it, from having a huge presence on the homepage to using the YouTube search. You can advertise and buy keywords just as you can in Google. YouTube's actually the second largest search engine in the world, so what we're finding now is a lot of people go directly there to search depending on the form of content that they're looking for. And of course you can build a brand presence on YouTube with engagement of brand channels as well. So as early as possible, please come talk to me or any of my colleagues.
I just got a good question on the Twitter feed. What was wrong with the juiced video model? Who wants to do that one?
I'll give it a go. All right. Who's seen Juiced in the room? 20%? There you go. Look, I think it's a good idea, probably far too early. A lot of the syndication deals hadn't been organised. There was probably some revenue split deals that wouldn't have been very nice to the content owners. Good idea, too early.
You had to download from the outset. They killed it. Afterwards it changed, but they were dead from the outset. I mean, I know they had the guys from Skype and it was really good. I actually had the opportunity of being in their New York offices, and it was probably, not that I was there, but it would have been like being in a startup in about 1999. It looked like there are too many people here not doing enough. So anyway, 6 months later I think I was proven right.
For me, I used it a little bit, but it just didn't really have the content up there to find. For example, I love sharks, and I could find some clips on sharks I remember watching, but after about 3, that was it. I'd run out.
So I guess, even though we had those experiences on Juiced, it was still lean forward. So everybody's still opting into all this kind of stuff. Do we, as a panel, think that the value proposition for advertising against online video changes significantly when we lean back?
I do. I mean, just looking at the figures of the type of money that Hulu gets in advertising as compared to YouTube, even though from a viewing point of view, it's considerably less. These are figures that please prove me if I might be wrong here, but I think Hulu and YouTube, this is about it, when I last looked 6 months ago, were nearly on parity in terms of advertising revenue in the US domestic market, yet Hulu had about a 20th of the audience of YouTube. So again, I feel good content. If you have good content, it's just easier to sell. And the other thing is, you're also, with a program like Hulu, you're dealing with programs that people already know. So you're already 10 steps ahead of the game that you are with someone trying to do something within a user-generated environment.
Look, the Malaysian experience is people are on their sofa watching it on a plasma screen, the same we do here, except that content's coming through the internet. So normal consumer behaviour will carry on. You know, there's shows like your social dramas, you know, which are 22 minutes in a 30-minute gap, and you'll happily take the advertising every 5 minutes or every 3 minutes, like it is in this country. You know, so I just think normal behavioural on some content will return.
I think it's like when we moved into PBRs. You know, I remember a KFC ad, I think, in the US that ran, and they had to change that because they understood that with PBRs, everyone's fast forwarding through the ads, and they put a token, so you had to actually stop and replay to get the token for a free chicken burger. I think it was KFC, it was that sort of thing. And another study found that, you know, whereas only about 10% of people would play and pause a bank ad, 90% of people would do the same for a beer ad. So I think, you know, it's exactly the same with when we move from a lean forward to a lean back concept within online video.
Are we seeing any interesting movements with regard to interactivity? I know there's a few people out there trialling what kind of ad do you want to watch. Does anybody...
So well, there's going to be a massive movement in terms of retail and online video. I know there's a few guys from Visual Jazz here, Simon and a few others. I love what they've done with JJ's with your 3D dance-off. Look, I hope there's no one here from JJ's, but it's a pretty, you know, average brand, can I say that? But you go to the site and they've got these, you know, hip-hop kids doing these cool breakdancing stuff. Hang on, this is before they got involved. This is cool, right? Changing it, all right? So it's good. So you go to the site, they're doing all this breakdancing, and you can stop the video, and on, you know, I like what that guy's wearing, and it will stop the video, and it will come up showing, you know, that jacket's $39 or whatever it might be, and then you can stop and it carries on. The next movement from that is to go straight to the e-commerce cart and be able to buy online, and I think that's a massive space. I think retail is going to be a huge area for online video. And the same with product placement as well. You know, you can stop video. And some of the stuff we've been doing as well, which Clement just did in the Hidden Pizza project, is you could tag yourself within the video on the X and Y axis, and then upload that to the social networks as well. So I think there's a lot of, you know, involvement and interactivity within the video. Another really good one was the Perrier one with Dieter Von Teese, the burlesque. Guys, if you haven't seen it, go and have a look. Yeah, you can't look away. What's great about it, it's probably about 30 minutes of content, but it's a bit like Dungeons and Dragons or fiction, fantasy, whatever. You know, the video starts, and then it gives you a choice which way you want to go. And then you go here, and then it gives you another choice which way you want to go, and you just become more and more evolved, and eventually you get chucked out by trying to touch her. Or maybe it's just me, I'm a pervert. But it was, I don't know who did it, I think it came out of England. It's a brilliant example, just keeps you engaged, because you watch the video, but then you go in and do it again and go through a different journey. So I think this interactivity within the video is going to be a really big growth area.
Yeah, certainly within YouTube we're also looking at interactivity, and we've got something called YouTube annotations, which is very easy and can be done for whenever you upload a video, and you can actually ask the user to click on what section they want. We're now evolving that, and for certain partners, as you were saying with the clothes, and certain auto partners in the US, you can click on the car at the time of the video and it will deep link to that site. For example, if you wanted to find out about wheels on a car, then when you're watching the video and you see that, you can then click through to find out how much extra you'll have to pay for those hubcaps. So yeah, great, exciting space.
Is there something on the cards in the future, or maybe now, and I just don't know about it, where you can stop people advertising against your brand, stop your competitors advertising against your brand, or stop people vice versa, basically?
Do you mean with the search words, so on Google, or within YouTube?
Within YouTube.
At the end,
Okay, so what we have within YouTube is we've got a content ID system, which the music labels and a lot of the labels are able to use. So if someone's uploaded a film clip or a song which has the content ID of that label, then they can take part of the advertising content against that, so the advertising revenue that appears on that. So that may be some of the cases that you've seen. Certainly, if your brand has a brand channel, you can request that advertising is turned off against there. So there would be no advertising against that.
So we're going to grab a few more questions from Twitter. If anybody has any, Nikki's going to put them up there and I can peer over her shoulder and read them. Sorry?
It's just the word about adult content.
Adult content? Really? You can read it. What does it say? Oh, will YouTube get into adult content? Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good question.
We've got a very active community on YouTube, and certainly if there's any video content that goes up, you have the ability to ask for it to be taken down, and that is then taken down very promptly as well. So YouTube is in the content. We're a platform for hosting content, so I don't ever see us, we don't build any content. And it's certainly not a place for porn or violence or any of that nature.
Well, that might be a good segue. Can you talk about the YouTube brand-funded Brand Partners program?
Are you referring to in the US where this is launched, where they give funds to partners to develop content?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's all... No, 4K, I think, springs to mind. There is so much innovation going on YouTube, it's hard to keep up with everything, so excuse me. This is part of just really enhancing creativity within the community and enabling our partners to do that, so that YouTube is given a grant to people who develop content that is then selected for those grants. Similar to what we're doing with YouTube Play, which is a contest for consumers to submit video, which would then be shown at the Guggenheim Museum in New York. So really encouraging that creativity across the world.
Okay, let's see. Can you talk about the Cadbury Oz Rolls video? Come on. Was that Lucio?
No, it wasn't me.
Are you sure?
That wasn't me.
They were cute though.
They were great.
Sure, for anyone that wants to know, that was one of those examples where we got in early and talked to the client, and they actually was able to develop the first ever round video. It used something called mimicry. There's another example, if you go to The Expendables, which is a new film in the US, there's a great example there of how you've got video interactive and engaging with the consumer.